Okay, guys. So we are going to be. Good morning again, guys. Welcome, 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 welcome back to the live. Hey, Deborah, how are you doing? Welcome into the live. We are going to be reading the book, The Four Agreements. Now, this is supposed to be a self help book. It is supposed to help us with wisdom and understanding our personal freedom. It's supposed to be a personal guide to success. All right. Thanks to my faithful listener who sent me this book that she bought. She bought online. Okay. This book says the four agreement: be impeccable with your word, speak with integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. Always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to when you are sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self judgment, self abuse, and regret. Let us continue. Welcome, guys. Welcome into the live. Thank you all so much for coming. I sincerely appreciate you all. Let us begin. The first chapter of the book, The Four Agreements. Thousands of years ago, the Toltec were known throughout southern Mexico as women and men of knowledge. Anthropologists have spoken of the Toltec as a nation or a race, but in fact, the Toltec were scientists and artists who formed a society to explore and conserve the spiritual knowledge and practices of the ancient ones. They came together as masters or naguals and students of Teo- Teotihuacan, Teotihuacan, the ancient city of pyramids outside Mexico City, known as the place where man becomes God. Over the millennia, the Naguals, that's the masters, were forced to conceal the ancestral wisdom and maintain its existence in obscurity. European conquest, coupled with rampant misuse of personal power by a few of the apprentices, made it necessary to shield the knowledge from those who were not prepared to use it wisely or who might intentionally misuse it for personal gain. Fortunately, the, es- the esoteric Toltec knowledge was embodied and passed on through generations by different lineages of Naguals. Though it remained veiled in secrecy for hundreds of years, ancient prophecies foretold the coming of an age when it would be necessary to return the wisdom to the people. Now, Don Miguel Ruiz, a Nagual from the Eagle Knight lineage, has been guided to share with us the powerful teachings of the Toltec. Toltec knowledge arises from the same essential unity of truth as all the sacred esoteric traditions found around the world. Though it is not a religion, it honors all the spiritual masters who have taught on the earth. While it does embrace spirit, it is most accurately described as a way of life, distinguished by, by the readily accessibility of happiness and love. Hmm. The smoky mirror. 3,000 years ago, there was a human, just like you and me, who lived near a city surrounded by mountains. The human was studying to become a medicine man, to learn the knowledge of his ancestors, but he didn't completely agree with everything he was learning. In his heart, he felt there must be something more. One day, as he slept in a cave, he dreamt that he saw his own body sleeping. He came out of the cave on the night of a full moon, of a new moon. The sky was clear, and he could see millions of stars. Then something happened inside of him that transformed his life forever. He looked at his hands, he felt his body, and he heard his own voice say, I am made of light. I am made of stars. He looked at the stars again, and he realized that it's not the stars that create light, but rather light that create the stars. Everything is made of light, he said, and the space in between isn't empty. And he knew that everything that exists is one living being, and that light is the messenger of life because it is alive and contains all information. Then he realized that although he was made of stars, he was not those stars. I am in between the stars, he thought. So he called the stars the tonal, and the light between the stars the nagual. And he knew that what created the harmony and space between the two is life or intent. Without life, the tonal and the nagual could not exist. Life is the force of the absolute, the supreme, the creator who creates everything. This is what he discovered. Everything in existence is a manifestation of the one living thing we call God. Everything is God. And he came to the conclusion that human perception is merely light perceiving light. He also saw that matter in a mirror, everything in a mirror that reflects light and creates images of that light. And the world of illusion, the dream, is just like smoke, which doesn't allow us to see what we really are. The real us is pure love, pure light, he said. This realization changed his life. Once he knew what he really was, he looked around at other humans and the rest of nature, and he was amazed at what he saw. He saw himself in every human, in every animal, in every tree, in the water, in the rain, in the clouds, in the earth. And he saw that life mixed the tonal and the nagual in different ways to create billions of manifestations of life. In those few moments, he comprehended everything. He was very excited, and his heart was filled with peace. He could hardly wait to tell his people what he had discovered, but there were no words to explain it. He tried to tell the others, but they could not understand. They could see that he had changed, that everything beautiful was radiating from his eyes and his voice. They noticed that he no longer had judgment about anything or anyone. He was no longer like anyone else. He could understand everyone very well, but no one could understand him. They believed that he was an incarnation of God, and he smiled when he heard this. And he said, it is true. I am God, but you are also God. We are the same, you and I. We are images of light. We are God. But still, the people didn't understand him. He had discovered that he was a mirror for the rest of the people, a mirror on which he could see himself. Everyone is a mirror, he said. He saw himself in everyone, but nobody saw him as themselves. And he realized that everyone was dreaming, but without awareness, without knowing what they really are. They couldn't see him as themselves because there was a wall of fog or smoke between the mirrors. And that wall of fog was made by the interpretation of images of light, the dream of humans. Then he knew that he would soon forget all that he had learned. He wanted to remember all the visions he had had. So he decided to call himself the smoky mirror so that he would always know that matter is a he would always know that matter is a mirror and the smoke in between is what keeps us from knowing what we are. He said, I am the smoky mirror because I am looking at myself in all of you, but we don't recognize each other because of the smoke in between us. That smoke is the dream, and the mirror is you, the dreamer. Hey, Lucille, what's up? And Steffi. Living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see. That is a phrase by John Lennon. Living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see. Domestication and the dream of the planet. When you are seeing and hearing right, what you are seeing and hearing right now is nothing but a dream. You are dreaming right now in this moment. You are dreaming with the brain awake. Dreaming is the main function of the mind. Now, those of you who are here, remember, we were just talking about dreaming because as we had read the book, we had been reading the book of Ezekiel. We saw where Ezekiel was talking about his dreams, and I said the dreaming is just of the mind. It is not reality. And then here now, I'm reading this book, The Four Agreements, and here it is saying, dreaming is the main function of the mind. And the mind dreams 24 hours a day. It dreams when the brain is awake, and it also dreams when the brain is asleep. The difference is that when the brain is awake, there is a material frame that makes us perceive things in a linear way. When we go to sleep, we do not have the frame, and the dream has the tendency to change constantly. Humans are dreaming all the time. Before we were born, the humans before us created a big outside dream that we will call society's dream or the dream of the planet. The dream of the planet is the collective dream of billions of smaller personal dreams, which together create a dream of a family, a dream of a community, a dream of a city, a dream of a country, and finally, a dream of the whole humanity. The dream of the planet includes all of society's rules, its beliefs, its laws, its religions, its different cultures and ways to be, its governments, its schools, social events, and holidays. Hey Smith, what's up? We are born with the capacity to learn how to dream, and the humans who live before us teach us how to dream the way society dreams. The outside dream has so many rules that when a new human is born, we hook the child's attention and introduce those rules into his or her mind. Smith says, I want reading. I want reading. That's what I'm doing. I'm reading. I just did not cut off the live from the Ezekiel live because this reading does tie into the Ezekiel live. So that's the live where I read the book of Ezekiel chapters 1 to 3. Okay? So I'm just going to continue reading this book because it aligns. with what I was saying about dreaming when I was reading the book of Ezekiel. Peanut butter is here. Peanut butter. Where is Jelly? How are you doing? Good to see you. Happy Saturday morning to you, my love. Welcome. Welcome into the live. I appreciate you. So let us continue. The outside dream uses mom and dad, the schools, and religion to teach us how to dream. Attention is the ability to have to discriminate and to focus only on that which we want to perceive. We can perceive millions of things simultaneously, but using our attention, we can hold whatever we want to perceive in the background or the foreground of our mind. The adults around us hooked our attention and put information into our minds through repetition. That is the way we learned everything we know. And ain't that so? That is so true. You were born into your family, and your family teaches you your first lessons, your lessons of religion, your lessons of education, as in terms of your language, in terms of writing and speaking and recognizing threats and so forth and so on. You are taught that. And there is I don't know of any household that is, say, a Christian household that's going to have a child, and the first religious teachings they give to that child is of Islam or vice versa. It ain't going to happen. You are taught your first set of religious teachings based on your parents' belief, because it is what they believe that they teach you. And if you do not have the discernment to stop and say, well, this is what my parents believed, I need to formulate my own belief by doing my own reading and getting exposure to other cultures, to other realities, and then formulating my own belief. If you never do that, then you have a tradition of beliefs that keep passing down from generation to generation. And here we notice that as we were reading in the Bible, we notice that there is such confounding fear that is driven into the people to believe what their foreparents taught them and to do as their foreparents taught them, that the people didn't know whether they were going hither or thither. Because it was clear that nobody was stopping to formulate their own ideas, their own views of religion. They were just going along with what was being taught to them. And so, with that, the generations continue to do as their foreparents did. But after a time, we saw where the Jewish people just got really fed up with all that was being expected of them. And it was a case of damn if you do, damn if you don't. They were doing all that was expected of them, they believed they were doing. But at the same time, the rewards, what was supposed to be the reward? Not much, right? And yet, the other people who were not serving the God that they were serving, the God from whom they expected all of this love and grace and understanding and peace and all of, they were not getting all of that from their God, who they had been serving so faithfully, traditionally coming down from their foreparents. So even with us today, I was born into a particular denomination on both sides of my parents. And I'm one of those people who started to ask questions. Right now, them to me are Eden. Me not really, pass way. I don't care what they want to say. But I have a right as a human being to question what was being taught to me. What I have been taught to believe. Yeah, you never just come shove stuff down my throat like this. That's how this thing work. You're not going to just tell me this thing and I do not go take a look for myself. I got to take a look for myself because I want to know for myself. I want to question it. I want to question the religious beliefs that I was forced to believe. The beliefs that I was forced to accept. I want to question them because I wasn't the person who formulated these beliefs. It was thrusted upon me. So now that I'm choosing to question the origins of these teachings and why these teachings were being thrusted upon me like that, I am the Eden. I am the one who is tempted with blasphemy and destruction because I dare to read the Bible and to question what is in it. But I'm not afraid, to read it. And I'm not afraid to question it because contrary to popular belief, where people are taught that if you question the Bible, you're going to blaspheme and you're going to dead and you're going to go to hell and all of this. Those fears don't deter me from reading it and questioning it. Because once you know the origin of the Bible and its authors, nobody can bamboozle you with that fear tactic anymore. And that's where I am at the moment. Nobody can bamboozle me with the fear tactic that I'm going to blaspheme and I'm going to go to hell and I'm all of this and all of this because I dare to question the Bible. Because the Bible was written, these are ordinary people who wrote of their experiences, whether these experiences were real or these were experiences that were perceived, things that people said them go to them bed and dream. I could write a dream book right now. The amount of times that I have dreamt stuff that turned out to happen. I could write a dream book, write a whole thing about all the dreams that I've had that have come to pass. And later on, somebody could take my dreams and take your dreams and somebody else's dreams and take 66 people, the dreams of 66 people, and compile those dreams and put them in a book and call it a book of dreams. Call it whatever they want. And people could purchase that book and read that book. All they'll be reading is the dreams that other people have had and dreams that have come to pass. And so said the Bible. In this book, it says it is from these dreams that a society's rules are created. Now I have a dream of how I want my household to run. And so these are the rules I am putting in place because this is how I want my household to be. Now, these dreams go from being small personal dreams to expanding to one's household, to religion, to the community, and then to society, to schools and churches and events and holidays. That's how dreams work. Every successful business has begun with a dream. Somebody says, you know what? I'm going to sell peanut butter. But first, I'm going to make peanut butter. Or maybe if I cream the peanuts, I'm going to get the butter, I'm going to try it and see what happens. And then I'm going to sell it. And from just that one simple idea was born a multi-million-dollar business of peanut butter, or selling turning peanuts into butter and selling it. All right, prediction. How are you doing? So it's the same way where somebody has come up with the idea that for all of this earth to be in existence, there has to be a man living in the clouds who is responsible for everything. And somebody sat and thought, so how did this man come about in the first place? And he said, oh, I really don't know how did this man come about in the first place. So then some people ask, why it gotta be a man? And they say, well, a woman is not that strong, so it has to be a man. And people dream and come up with different scenarios until they arrive at the scenario that says, this man came down to earth, and this man went into a garden. And in that garden, this man started to create man and animals and birds and fish and all these things. And it makes the story more mystical because there are so many questions that have no answers, all because somebody was dreaming of what they think life, how they think life started. And so they documented it. That is what they think. That is what they think life. That is how they believe life started. That this man came out of the clouds and he came down. And even though Earth wasn't supposedly, if you were supposed to follow the logic, Earth would not have been made yet. He came down and he spoke and he said and they said in the beginning he created the heaven and the earth. But you can't ask where did he come from? Because he's omnipotent, he exists, he just exists. Okay. But what I say is we can't just cow down people and tell them you shouldn't ask questions. Because of course, yes, people are supposed to ask questions. People are supposed to ask questions to get more knowledge and to grow, to add to their curiosity to or justify their curiosity or provide answers to their curiosity. In whatever category it falls, people are supposed to ask questions. And I am not a fan of individuals who try to call people down, especially when people ask questions about the Bible. They like to come about and try to tell people, oh, you dare not. No, don't ask any questions about the Bible was written by men, inspired by God. The Bible was written by men inspired by God. Even the lying tongue Jeremiah and the others, men inspired by God. What an inspiration from God with all that killing, murdering, lying, cheating, backbiting, all of those things. And yet still, people don't see it as men documenting either their actual experiences or their perceived experiences. But I'm going to leave that alone. Right now, we're going to continue. We unlock what's up. We are going to continue reading this book called The Four Agreements. Attention is the ability to have to discriminate and to focus only on that which we want to perceive. We can perceive millions of things simultaneously, but using our attention, we can hold whatever we want to perceive in the foreground of our mind. The adults around us hooked our attention. and put information into our minds through repetition. That is the way we learned everything we know. By using our attention, we learned a whole reality, a whole dream. We learned how to behave in society, what to believe and what not to believe, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, what is good and what is considered bad, what is beautiful and what is considered ugly, what is right and what is wrong. It was all there already, all that knowledge, all those rules and perceptions about how to behave in the world. When you were in school, you sat in a little chair and put your attention on what the teacher was teaching you. When you went to church, you put your attention on what the priest or the pastor or the minister was telling you. It is the same dynamic with men. It is the same dynamic with your mom and your dad and your brothers and your sisters. They're all trying to hook your attention. We also learn to hook the attention of other humans, and we develop a need for attention, which can become very competitive. Children compete for the attention of their parents, their teachers, their friends. Look at me. Look at what I am doing. Listen to me. Listen to what I am saying. Hey, I'm here. The need for attention becomes very strong and continues into adulthood. The outside dream hooks our attention and teaches us what to believe, beginning with the language that we speak. Language is the code for understanding and communicating between humans. Every letter, every word in each language is an agreement. We call this a page of a book. The word page is an agreement that we understand. Once we understand the code, our attention is hooked and the energy is transferred from one person to another. It was not your choice to speak English. You didn't choose your religion or your moral values. They were already there before you were born. We never had the opportunity to choose what to believe or what not to believe. We never chose even the smallest of these agreements. We didn't even choose our own name. As children, we didn't have the opportunity to choose our beliefs, but we agreed with the information that was passed on to us from the dream of the planet via other humans. The only way to store information is by agreement. The outside dream may hook our attention, but if we don't agree, we don't store that information. As soon as we agree, we believe it, and this is called faith. To have faith is to believe unconditionally. That's how we learn as children. Children believe everything the adults say. We agree with them, and our faith is so strong that the belief system controls our whole dream of life. We didn't choose these beliefs, and we may have rebelled against them, but we were not strong enough to win the rebellion. The, re- the result is surrender to the beliefs with our agreement. I call this process the domestication of humans. And through this domestication, we learn how to live and how to dream. In human domestication, the information from the outside dream is conveyed to the inside dream, creating our whole belief system. First, the child is taught the names of things: mommy and daddy, milk, bottle, and so forth. Day by day at home, at school, at church, and from the television, we are told how to live, what kind of behaviors is acceptable and what is not. The outside dream teaches us how to be human. We have a whole concept of what a woman is and what a man is. And we also learn to judge. We judge ourselves. We judge other people. We judge our neighbors, our friends, our co workers, our family members. We judge. Children are domesticated the same way that we domesticate a cat or a dog or any other animal. In order to teach a dog, we punish the dog and we give it rewards. We train our children, whom we love so much, the way that we train our domesticated animals, with a system of reward and punishment. We are told, "You are a good boy," or "You're a good girl," when we do what mommy and daddy wants us to do. When we don't, we are told, "Oh, you're a bad boy. You're a bad girl." Panera's life lessons to be learned. Hey, we are laugh. Yep. Hey, Junior. Hey, Anthony. Physical reading. How are you doing? Soon we become punishment and reward. We are told you're a bad boy or a bad girl. When we went against the rules, we were punished. When we went along with the rules, we get a reward. We were punished many times a day, and we were also rewarded many times a day. Soon, we became afraid of being punished and also afraid of not receiving the reward. The reward is the attention that we got from our parents or from other people like siblings, teachers, and friends. We soon develop a need to hook other people's attention in order to get the reward. The reward feels good, and we keep doing what others want us to do in order to get the reward. With that fear of being punished and that fear of not getting the reward, we start pretending to be what we are not, just to please others, just to be good enough for someone else. We try to please mommy and daddy. We try to please the teachers at school. We try to please the church. And so we start acting. We start acting. We pretend to be what we are not because we are afraid of being rejected. We are afraid of being punished. The fear of being rejected becomes the fear of not being good enough. Eventually, we become someone that we are not. We become a copy of mama's beliefs, of daddy's beliefs, of society's beliefs, and our religion's beliefs. All our normal tendencies are lost in the process of domestication. And when we are old enough for our mind to understand, we learn the word no. The adults say, "Don't do this and don't do that." We rebel and we say no. We rebel because we are defending our freedom. We want to be ourselves, but we are very little, and the adults are big and strong. After a certain time, we are afraid because we know that every time we do something wrong, we are going to be punished. Sister Winsome, how are you doing? Oh, Sister Winsome, so I never come on last night. Well, Sister Winsome, last night I was on mommy's duty. And if you all know, hey Nikki, what's up? Hey Gabby and Carrie, what's up? And if you all noticed by now, my youngin does not like the camera. So with that, I had to obey. I have to obey her wishes. So I was on mommy duties last night, and my daughter and I were out having our time together, little mommy and daughter time. And so I just soaked it all up. Yeah. But I am here. I am here now. All right. So take me as I am without one plea. All right, Sister Winsome. Oh boy. Yes, my love. So that was that for last night. But I'm here today. I'm here this morning, and I'm going to be here for for a good while this morning before I have to run out and get some stuff done. Some pre-Christmas mailing. I'm gonna have to mail off some cakes today, and and I only a bit of win some, and then come back on here. Kitty Cat Victoria from Australia. With some. Winsome, where was this morning for the Bible reading? You come just in time though when we are reading this book. I like this book. The Four Agreements that one of our faithful listeners sent to me and asked me to read this book for everybody, for for all of us. All right, so that's what we are reading, the Four Agreements, guys. Let us continue. The belief system is like a book of law that rules our minds. Without question, whatever is in that book of law is our truth. Ah, aha. You all remember I said that. Oh, after me never know say you never wake, sister. When some say why me never wake her up. I never know say you weren't awake. Me know say you usually up early, but you all know me. I'm up at 4. I'm up at 4. This morning I was up at 3:45. I listened to the news because I was offline last night. I didn't get to hear any news. So I listened to ABC Nightly News and then jumped right on the live. Yeah, so you know I'm here, Sister Winsome. I'm here now. Take me as I am. Right, guys? Take me as I am. Let's see who else has come in. Gabby has come in. Kitty Cat Michelle is here as well. Lawrence. Let us continue. We're reading the book, The Four Agreement, guys. And I'm going to read this verse that I just read. I'm going to read it again. The belief system is like a book of law that rules our minds. Without question, whatever is in that book of law is our truth. We base all of our judgments according to that book of law, even if those judgments go against our own inner nature. Even moral laws, like the Ten Commandments, are programmed into our mind in the process of domestication. Ah, aha. We are being taught, we are being taught that whatever we have read in the Bible is supposed to be the truth of humans. So much so that some people don't want to believe any other religious documentation. They don't want to make room to accommodate any other religious writing because, according to them, the Bible is their all in all, and whatever is in the Bible, that's only what they're going to go by. And they don't stop to ask themselves the pertinent questions as it pertains to the writings in the Bible. And as society has taught them to condemn anybody else who asks the who dares to ask the pertinent questions about the writings of the Bible. Here in this book, the Four Agreements, it is saying, even moral laws like the Ten Commandments are programmed into our mind in the process of our domestication. One by one, all these agreements go into the book of law, and these agreements rule our dream. There is something in our minds that judges everybody and everything, including the weather, the dog, the cat, everything. The inner judge uses what it is in our book of law to judge everything we say and do, and everything we don't say or don't do, everything we think and everything we don't think, and everything we feel and everything we don't feel. Everything lives under the tyranny of this judge, under the tyranny of this judge. Every time we do something that goes against the book of law, the judge says we are guilty. We need to be punished. We should be ashamed. This happens many times a day after day, for all the years of our lives. There is another part of us that receives the judgments. And this part is called the victim. The victim carries the blame and the shame and the guilt. It is a part of us that says, poor me, I'm not good enough. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not worthy of love. Poor me. The big judge agrees and says, yes, you are not good enough. And this is all based on a belief system that we never choose to believe. These beliefs are so strong that even years later, when we are opposed to new concepts and try to make our own decisions, we find that these beliefs still control us. Y'all remember me talking about me trying to read the Bible from a point of a blank slate, just pretending as though I had never heard the teachings of the Bible before. And you all see that it is very hard. That's exactly what this book is saying. When you have even formulated the concepts of your own, or even after I have been reading the Bible and coming across the, the, the questionable behaviors of the people in the Bible and the questionable way in which the authors present God, even when I'm trying to articulate my questions and my concerns, it my thoughts are still overshadowed by what I have been taught all these years. So there is still that little conflict there. And that is something that you cannot escape. I won't be able to escape it. You won't be able to escape it as well if you try to read the Bible yourself or you try to ask the pertinent questions. You are still going to say, you know, oh my God, or God knows, or God tell me say you did I go come. Me say me know say you did I go come today now. God tell me say you did I go come today. You still fall back on those thoughts. And that is because you have been domesticated in this fashion. So you can't just get up one day and just say, oh, forget it. It's going to take a lot of time. And also you are going to always revert to saying, the Bible says, so and so XYZ. Even though you, from having read the Bible yourself, you have a multitude of questions and concerns about the presentations of the Bible. You will still find yourself saying, the Bible says. And even in a debate fashion, you will find yourself quoting the Bible as your justification. And that is solely based on the fact that you have been domesticated into believing. Thank you, Sherian. You have been domesticated into believing what the Bible says, and it is ingrained in your head. It's not something that you can just get up one day and totally ignore or totally forget about. And that is exactly what this book, the four agreements, is saying. Let us continue. Let us continue. We are at the big judge agrees and says, yes, you are not good enough. And this is all based on a belief system that we never choose to believe. These beliefs are so strong that even years later, when we are opposed to new concepts and try to make our own decisions, we find that these beliefs still controls our lives. Whatever goes against the book of law will make you feel a funny sensation in your solar plexus, and it's called fear. Breaking the rules of the book of laws opens your emotional wounds, and your reaction is to create emotional poison. Because everything that is in the book of law has to be true. Anything that challenges what you believe is going to make you feel unsafe. Even if the book of law is wrong, it makes you feel safe. That is why we need a great deal of courage to challenge our own beliefs. Because even if we know we didn't choose all these beliefs, it is also true that we agree to all of them. The agreement is so strong that even if we understand the concept of it not being true, we feel the blame, the guilt, and the shame that occur if we go against these rules. Just as the government has a book of laws that rule the society's dream. Our belief system is the book of laws that rules our personal dream. All these laws exist in our mind. We believe them. And the judge inside us bases everything on these rules. The judge decrees, and the victim suffers the guilt and punishment. But who says there is justice in this dream? True justice is paying only once for each mistake. True injustice is paying more than once for each mistake. How many times do we pay for our mistakes? The answer is thousands of times. The human is the only animal on earth that pays 1,000 times for the same mistake. The rest of the animals pay once for every mistake they make, but not us. We have a powerful memory. We make a mistake, we judge ourselves, we find ourselves guilty, and we punish ourselves. If justice exists, then that was enough. We don't need to do it again. But every time we remember, we judge ourselves again. We are guilty again. And we punish ourselves again and again and again. If we have a wife or a husband, he or she also reminds us of the mistake so we can judge ourselves again and punish ourselves again. Overton, how are you doing, Overton? The Cora, Susan, and Madman Gabby. How is everybody doing this morning? Blessings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Overton, we're going from your wife to your friend. How you doing? Good morning, my love. How are you doing? We find ourselves guilty again and again. Is this fair, Carmelita? How many times do we make our spouse, our children, our parents pay for the same mistake? Every time we remember the mistake, we blame them again and again and send them all the emotional poison we feel at the injustice. And then we make them pay again for the same mistake. Is that justice? The judge in the mind is wrong because the belief system, the book of law, is wrong. The whole dream is based on false law. 95% of the beliefs we have stored in our minds are nothing but lies. And we suffer because we believe all these lies. In the dream of the planet, it is normal for humans to suffer, to live in fear, and to create emotional dramas. The outside dream is not a pleasant dream. It is a dream of violence, a dream of fear, a dream of war, a dream of injustice. The personal dream of humans will vary, but globally, it is mostly a nightmare. If we look at human society, we see a place so difficult to live in because it is ruled by fear. Throughout the world, we see human suffering, anger, revenge, addictions, violence in the street, and tremendous injustice. It may exist at different levels in different countries around the world, but fear is controlling the outside dream. Rob, what's up, Rabsy? How are you doing, my lovely, lovely sister? Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy. Oh, a Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, my darling. I am here doing my morning reading and I'm sharing it with you all, right, Jay Miller? Yeah, I am sharing it with you all, my friends, for you all to come in and Listen to the reading. I know that the title may have said Ezekiel, but I've read Ezekiel and now I'm reading the four agreements and tying in this reading with the readings that I have done so far in the Bible. All right? If we compare the dream of human society with the description of hell that religions all around the world have propagated, we find they are exactly the same. Religions say that hell is a place of punishment, a place of fear, pain, suffering, a place where there is fire that burns you. Fire is generated by emotions that come from fear. Whenever we feel the emotions of anger, envy, hate, jealousy, we experience a fire that's burning within us. We're living in a dream of hell. If you consider hell as a state of mind, then hell is all around us. Others may warn us that if we don't do what they say we should do, we will go to hell. Bad news. We are already in hell, including the people who tell us that we are going to hell. No human can condemn another to hell because we are all already there. Others can put us into a deeper hell. True. But only if we allow this to happen. Every human has his or her own personal dream. And just like the society dream, it is often ruled by fear. We learn to dream we learn to dream hell in our own life, in our personal dream. The same fears manifest in different ways for each other, of course, but we experience anger, jealousy, hate, envy, and other negative emotions. Our personal dream can also become an ongoing nightmare where we suffer and live in a state of fear. But we don't need to dream a nightmare. It is possible to enjoy a pleasant dream. All of humanity is searching for truth, for justice, and for beauty. We are on an eternal search for the truth because we only believe in the lies we have stored in our minds. We are searching for justice because in the belief system we have, there is no justice. We search for beauty because it doesn't matter how beautiful a person is, we don't believe that person has beauty. We keep searching and searching when everything is already within us. There is no truth to find. Wherever we turn our heads, all we see is the truth. But with the agreements and beliefs we have stored in our mind, we have no eyes for this truth. We don't see the truth because we are blind. What blinds us are all those false beliefs we have in our mind. We have the need to be right and to make others wrong. Now, remember, I talk about that. So, there are people who are ready to condemn us. That you will find them all around. They are parents, they are siblings, they are friends, they are church members, they are members of the community who are always willing and ready to condemn you for your choice, for your choices, the way you choose to live your life, for your beliefs, for you not agreeing with them, for you choosing to free yourself from the domesticated beliefs that have been thrusted upon you, have been thrusted down your throat. You had no choice. You had no choice in these beliefs. They were handed to you from your parents, from your school, from your community, from your church, from society at large. And you had no say in it. But how dare you as a teenager, as a young adult, or as an individual, go against what you were taught? If you ever dare to go, if you ever dare to go against what you were taught, then you are considered to be all kinds of things and then some. Just like with me reading the Bible. Since I started reading the Bible, it has become an eye opener for me. And when I share my thoughts online, people say, "Oh, Trev, you're blaspheme. You are sick. You question the Bible." And I perfectly understand those people's position. People say, "Oh, you don't believe in God," and all. People come to all kinds of conclusions. And you are free to come to your conclusion. I'm not going to tell anybody, don't come to your conclusion, don't believe what you want to believe. Because that would be like me saying to you, here I am conditioning you, domesticating you to believe what I believe, that you shouldn't say that. No, go ahead. If that's how you feel, that's how. Be my guest. But here I am trying to read this book for myself, and based on the context of the book, make my determinations as to what to believe and what not to believe. And that, my friends, is my rightful choice. You don't have to choose what I choose or anything different. You can continue to go along with what you were taught without seeking to find out whether or not what you were taught is true, or whether you should question whether or not what you were taught is even practical. Like, some of this don't make no sense. Some of the things we were taught, some of it don't make no sense. But how dare me say that I will be, castrated, you know, cancelled, all these things, because people are not open to accepting the fact that there are people like me who are going to question their book of laws. People don't want to hear nobody questioning the Bible. They want everybody to fall in line, right, Trician? They want everybody to fall in line, come along with us, stay in line. Don't go against this book, because this is our royal book of knowledge. And even if you see all the wars and all the bloodshed in the book, I don't want to hear you talking about it. Don't you dare talk about it, because our God would never send anybody to slay anybody. So even if you see it in the Bible, do not talk about it. Okay? But that's not me. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to say that's what I've read. And that's where I've read it. That's why I'm reading the Bible out aloud, so you all can share with me in its contents. Because I don't want to read it secretly and then come out and talk about it. And then you all say, I must let you tell them something in the Bible. That's why I invite you all to come read with me, so that you all can stay on the journey with me. So you won't say, I said. You will say, when you speak of me reading the Bible, you will say, the most you can say is that Trev read it in the Bible. The Bible said so and so and so. All right, Winsome? It's not me, because I don't come over here making up nothing. All right, but we're going to continue. We trust what we believe, and our beliefs set us up for suffering. It is as if we live in the middle of a fog that doesn't let us see any further than our noses. We live in a fog that is not even real. This fog is a dream, your personal dream of life, what you believe, all the concepts you have about what you are, all the agreements you have made with others, with yourself, and with God. Your whole mind is a fog, which the Toltecs called the metote, Your mind is a dream, which where 1,000 people talk at the same time, and nobody understands each other. This is the condition of the human mind. a big metote. And with that big metote, you cannot see what you really are. In India, they call the metote Maya, which means illusion. It is the personality's notion of I am. Everything you believe about yourself and the world, all the concepts and programming you have in your mind, are all the mitote. We cannot see who we truly are. We cannot see that we are not free. That is why humans resist life. To be alive, to be alive is the biggest fear humans have. Death is not the biggest fear we have. Our biggest fear is taking the risk to be alive. The risk to be alive and express that we really are. Just being ourselves is the biggest fear of humans. We have learned to live our lives trying to satisfy other people's demands. We have learned to live by other people's point of view because of the fear of not being accepted and of not being good enough for someone else. During the process of domestication, we form an image of what perfection is in order to try to be good enough. We create an image of how we should be in order to be accepted by everybody. We especially try to please the ones we love who love us, like mom and dad, big brother and sister, the priest, the teacher, trying to be good enough for them. We create an image of perfection, but we don't fit this image. We create this image. But this image is not real. We are never going to be perfect from this point of view. Never. Hey, daddy's girl, how you doing? Not being perfect, we reject ourselves. And the level of self rejection depends upon how effective the adults were in breaking our integrity. After domestication, it is no longer about being good or good enough for anybody else. We are not good enough for ourselves because we don't fit with our own image of perfection. We cannot forgive ourselves for not being what we wish to be, or rather what we believe we should be. We cannot forgive ourselves for not being perfect. We know we are not what we believe we are supposed to be, and we feel false, frustrated, and dishonest. We try to hide ourselves, and we pretend to be what we are not. The result is that we feel unauthentic and wear social masks to keep others from noticing this. We are so afraid that somebody else will notice that we are not what we pretend to be. We judge ourselves according to our image of perfection as well, and naturally, they fall short of our expectations. We dishonor ourselves just to please other people. We even do harm to our physical bodies just to be accepted by others. You see teenagers taking drugs just to avoid being rejected by other teenagers. They are not aware that the problem is that they don't accept themselves. They reject themselves because they are not what they pretend to be. They wish to be a certain way, but they are not. And for this, they carry shame and guilt. Humans punish themselves endlessly for not being what they believe they should be. They become very self abusive and they use other people to abuse themselves as well. But nobody abuses us more than we abuse ourselves. And it is the judge, the victim, and the belief system that make us do this. True, we find people we find people who say their husband or wife or mother or father abused them. But you know that we abuse ourselves much more than that. The way we judge ourselves is the worst judge that ever existed. If we make a mistake in front of people, we try to deny the mistake and cover it up. But as soon as we are alone, the judge becomes so strong, the guilt is so strong, and we feel so stupid, or so bad, or so unworthy. In your whole life, nobody has ever abused you more than you have abused yourself. And the limit of your self abuse is exactly the limit that you will tolerate from everybody else. If someone abuses you a little more than you abuse yourself, you will probably walk away from that person. But if someone abuses you a little less than you abuse yourself, you will probably stay in the relationship and tolerate it endlessly. If you abuse yourself very badly, you can even tolerate someone who beats you up, humiliates you, and treats you like dirt. Why? Because in your belief system, you say, I deserve this. This person is doing me a favor by being with me. I'm not worthy of love and respect. I'm not good enough. We have the need to be accepted and to be loved by others, but we cannot accept the love that we should have for ourselves. The more self love we have, the less we will experience self abuse. Self abuse comes from self rejection, and self rejection comes from having an image of what it means to be perfect and never measuring up to that ideal. Our image of perfection is the reason we reject ourselves. It is why we don't accept ourselves the way we are, and why we don't accept others the way they are. There are thousands of agreements you have made with yourself, with other people, with your dream of life, with God, with society, with your partners, with your spouse, with your children. But the most important agreements are the ones you have made with yourself. In these agreements, you tell yourself who you are, what you feel, what you believe, and how to behave. The result is what you call your personality. In these agreements, you say, this is what I am, this is what I believe. I can do certain things, and some things I cannot do. This is reality. That is fantasy. This is possible, and that is impossible. One single agreement is not such a problem, but we have many agreements that makes us suffer, but make that makes us suffer, that makes us fail in life. If you want to live a life of joy and fulfillment, you will have to find the courage to break those agreements that are fear based and claim your personal power. The agreement that comes from fear require us to expend a lot of energy, but the agreements that come from love help us to conserve energy and even gain extra energy. Each of us is born with a certain amount of personal power that we rebuild every day that we rest. Unfortunately, we spend all our personal power first to create all these agreements and then to keep these agreements. Our personal power is dissipated by all the agreements we have created, and the result is that we feel powerless. We have just enough power to survive each day because most of it is used to keep the agreements that trap us in the dream of the planet. How can we change the entire dream of our life when we have no power to change even the smallest agreement? If we can see it is our agreements that rule our own life, and we don't like the dream of our life, we need to change the agreements. When we are finally ready to change our agreements, there are four very powerful agreements that will help us to break those agreements that come from fear and deplete our energy. I Tracy. Each time we break an agreement, all the power you use to create it returns to you. If you adopt these four new agreements, they will create enough personal power for you to change the entire system of your old agreements. You need a very strong will in order to adopt the four agreements. But if you can begin to live your life with these agreements, the transformation in your life will be amazing. You will see the drama of hell disappear right before your eyes. Instead of living in a dream of hell, you will be creating a new dream, your personal dream of heaven. Boston Twin, welcome. that is the end of chapter 1 of the book, The Four Agreements. I love this book. I'm falling in love with this book already, guys. The Four Agreements. Oh, that. JJ, what's up, sis? How you doing? How you doing? Good morning, my love. Happy Saturday to you, my darling. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you're having a great, great, great Saturday morning. All right. So far we have read chapter 1 of the book, The Four Agreements, and this book is essentially telling us that everything that we believe, or the things that we think that we believe, are really traditional information that has been passed down to us. You will hear people say, "Oh, I believe in the Bible. I believe every word the Bible says," and that is because the tradition of the Bible's teachings that have been handed down to you has been handed down simultaneously with a fair. The same way you get the Bible is the same way at the same time you were handed fair. So the Bible in one hand and fear of rejecting the Bible in the other, in the same measure. And it's handed down to you in such a fashion that you are conflicted. You want to question the things that you read in the Bible, their validity, their veracity. You want to question it. But you have been given such a measure of fear about questioning it that you just say, "Oh, well, like a sheep to the slaughter, I'm just going to go right ahead and move along. I'm just going along like all the other sheep, so that wherever one sheep ends up, that's where all of us are going to end up. I'm just going to go right along. I'm not going to stop to ask any questions because I don't want to be different. I don't want to go against the grain. I just want to conform. I don't want to be looked at differently. I want to conform. I want to do like everybody else is doing because I don't want to stand out in the crowd. I do not want anybody to single me out, and I do not want to single myself out. Grogan, what's up? And so with that, you find that people do not want to ask no question. They don't even want to acknowledge. They don't even want to acknowledge how the writings in the Bible came about because they have been taught that if you dare to acknowledge that the Bible is a collection of books, a collection of writings by various people over various periods of time that's been put together in a compilation that's called the Bible. If you dare to say that, they will dare to cancel you. They will dare to say, you are Eden, you are against the Bible, you don't believe in a God, you don't believe what they believe, and all these things. Because society has taught us that we dare not be different. We dare not ask questions. We dare not go against the grain. If you grew up in a Christian household and you were taught Christianity, you should embrace it and travel with it and take it with you to your grave. Don't you ever dare question the religion of your parents, the religion that your society has stuffed down your throat. You dare not question it. Well, if it's daring, it is me. So that is why, my friends, I am reading the Bible and reading it out aloud so that those of you who cannot be bothered with reading it can come on in and listen to it as I read it and formulate your own questions about it. And whoever it is, whether you got your own religious teacher who is teaching you what is in the Bible and convincing you that everything that they're in is ordained by God, you will know who to ask the questions that baffles you. I'm no preacher, don't intend to be, don't expect to be. I am just an ordinary woman reading the Bible on my own, because since the Bible has so much influence on our lives, I think it behooves all of us to read it and to know what is in it. So I choose to read it and to share with you as I am reading it. Okay? So here we are. We are on the book of Ezekiel. If you are just coming, you are a little bit late because we have already read the book of Ezekiel, chapters 1 through 3. And we have also read the book, they've read the first chapter of the book, The Four Agreements, and how it ties in, how the book, The Four Agreement, ties in with our beliefs in the scriptures. Okay? And so with that, we are going to end the live for today. Hey Joseph, what's up? Whisperwind, what's up? And what I leave you with today is to think about your dream. What is your dream for you? What is your dream for your life, for yourself? Is there anything that is standing in the way of your dreams? Whatever it is, my friends, whatever it is, you have the control over your dreams. So you need to determine where your dream is going to lead you. Your future is in your hands. Take the reins today, this Saturday. I implore you to take the reins of your life and make the determination as to where you want to take your life, and then take actions. It all depends on you. That's where we're going to end today's reading, my friends. Once again, I want to say thanks to everybody who came into the live. To those of you who hit the like button, thank you very much for all the hearts and the loves. I sincerely appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys. Those of you who will come into the live after the live has ended, I want to say thanks to you all as well. And that is where we are going to end today's reading, my friends. Until next time. This is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. Have yourselves a great day, guys, and I will see you all later.